is now 6:01, and we're now ready to begin our regularly scheduled board meeting for the Port Arthur Economic Development Corporation. May I have a roll call, please?
Beverly Raymond. Kayla Jacobs. Here. Jerry LaBeouf. Here. Daryl Anderson. Here. Morris Albright. Here. Ingrid Holmes. Katrina Frank. Here. You have a quorum, Chair.
Stand for the invocation. Ms. Raymond.
God, we thank you once again for being able to the board meeting and that you bless to here today along with our staff and our board members. God, please help us to be about the business of the corporation. Help us to work wholeheartedly and collectively for the success of our
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we have our minute from the November 3rd regular board meeting. We have a motion to approve those.
So moved.
It's been moved and second. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. On to communications. Ms. Mueller.
Yes, sir. Board members, in front of you, you have two handouts for two upcoming events that the EDC has tables reserved for. Ms. Garcia will be sending out a reminder to the board members to see if you all would like to attend these events. The first one is the Chamber's annual banquet, which will be held on January 13th at the Bob Bauer Civic Center. These have moved to the day. They used to be in the evening, but the Chamber has moved these to the daytime, so it makes it a little easier to attend. The second event is the Economic Forecast Luncheon that is sponsored by the Regional Economic Development Initiative, which the Port Arthur EDC is a part of. So we have tables at both of those events, and just let Ms. Garcia know your availability to attend those.
Any questions about that?
Where's the second one going to be held?
One is at the Holiday Inn in Beaumont.
Moving on to reports. Ms. Mueller.
Thank you, Chair. First thing I wanted to point it out to you all, in your packets you have the board meeting schedule for 2026. So if you'll just make note of those dates. There will be one that may change during the year just because it falls on a holiday, but we will get you all to approve a new date for that one later on in the year. I believe it's September's meeting, so we have time for that one. Also in your packets, Sarai, did you pass these out already? No. Ray is going to pass out a few handouts to you. While she's doing that, I am going to mention to you all, Saltech Surveyors has begun the work for the retention ponds in the business park that we have retained them to do. They have started the flyovers to assess what condition they're in, and then they will be reporting that back and letting us know what the next step is in getting those retention ponds rehabilitated. Also, Dylan Bennett, our new marketing person, she is working on a business retention and expansion initiative. She'll be able to talk to you a little bit more about that next month during her quarterly report, but we are working on a real estate initiative to be able to inventory all of the commercial properties that we have in Port Arthur, and part of that, one of the first steps that we are taking is getting with all of the commercial realtors in the area to be able to create that partnership between ourselves and them form. That way we can create that funnel of information as far as properties go. We can build a functional database of properties that we have. Okay, Ms. Garcia has passed out to you a handout. The first one there is a letter from the EDC to all of our current incentive recipients, as the board has requested that we, moving forward, include a snippet in their incentive agreements asking them to identify themselves as being Port Arthur businesses. We have taken an extra step and sent letters to our existing incentive recipients asking them, because we cannot go back and require them in their incentive agreements, we're asking them in good faith effort to support this initiative and identify themselves as Port Arthur businesses while they're doing their marketing. So that letter is in there for you all to see as well. The next handout behind that letter, you'll have an email and a notice of grant award from Lamar State College, Port Arthur. This is just to let you all know that they have received that grant from the state, and this is for their welding program that they've asked for the EDC's partnership on in funding some of that program. So our attorneys have started to craft a memorandum of understanding or performance agreement, if you will, and that will be coming to you all at your next board meeting. I'm going to go ahead and move into your next report on your agenda. Director LeBeau has asked for a report on the request for proposals for the leased kitchen at the press building. I've also included in that handout is a request for proposals. This is a confidential draft. This is for your eyes only right now. It has not been released, so it's not to be shared. We do still need our attorney to review it and make sure everything is kosher on there as far as legalities go, as well as our committee has to approve this as well. So this is a draft just for you all to be able to look it over. This should give you a good idea of what our intent is with the leased kitchen as far as being a kitchen incubator. This is a request for proposals for a tenant/operator. So the individual organization that will be responding to this would be a tenant to run a restaurant/kitchen incubator. They have to provide programming for small businesses and entrepreneurs in the culinary sector. So please take that with you, take a look at it. If you all have questions, you can let me know and I'll pass that on to the committee. Is there any other questions, Mr. LeBeau?
When do you think this is going to be out for release?
So I have on there December 15th. That it's highlighted because that's just a very tentative date, but I do hope to release this before the holidays.
Crystal, email this, please.
Okay,
Thank you.
will do. And on your agenda, Chair, you do have one more report from Director LeBeau, a report on the last 6 months for all travel from EDC staff and board members. Staff has put together in your packets a list of all of the travel that has been done by staff. There were no board members that did any travel in the last 6 months. That is for your review, and if you have any questions, you can email those to me if you've got any concerns or questions on any of those. If there are no questions, then I'll go ahead and let Rachel come up and give the financial report.
Good evening, Board of Directors. Okay, I'll give you a minute to get your reports in front of you. Are you ready? Okay, great. Okay, this is a financial report for fiscal year 25-26 for October year-to-date. As of the October year-to-date period, the fund continues to maintain a strong financial position. Revenues are tracking ahead of expenditures, and most operating categories remain significantly underspent, which is typical for the early portion of the fiscal year. Transfers to other funds were completed in full, while operational categories such as salaries, supplies, and contractual services are trending well below annual budgeted levels. I'm going to go in according to the way the report is. So we're going to go over the revenue and sources first, other sources. The total revenue for the period amounts to $777,920,000, representing approximately 10% of the annual revenue budget of $7.82 million. The majority of revenue received to date is from sales tax revenue, which provided $583,170. Rental income and interest earnings contributed modestly, while several revenue lines such as industrial park maintenance revenue, sale of land, and miscellaneous revenue has shown little to no activity. The transfer from the general fund, the EOC lease, was received in full at the start of the year, totaling $132,588. Overall, a strong revenue balance of $7,047,078 remained available for the remainder of the fiscal year. I will move on to salaries and benefits. Salary and benefits expenditures total $87,561, or about 7.5% of the annual budget of $1,167,040. Regular earnings comprise the bulk of the year-to-date totals, while overtime allowances and benefit-related costs remain minimal. Benefits such as retirement, health insurance, and Social Security are tracking at expected early year levels. The salary and benefit category retains a significant available balance of $1,079,479, indicating controlled personnel spending. On to supplies and materials. Spending in supplies and materials is low at $1,065 year-to-date, representing less than 1% of the $170,500 annual budget. Most line items, including IT equipment, minor equipment, uniforms, fuel, and postage, show no activity yet. Modest spending occurred in meeting expenses and other supplies. The category maintains a remaining balance of $169,435. On to maintenance. Maintenance expenditures totaled $2,430, entirely within the building maintenance. No spending has occurred on equipment or vehicle maintenance. The category overall reflects only 0.5% of the annual $517,000 maintenance budget, leaving a full balance available for upcoming maintenance needs. Contractual services. Contractual services represent the largest operating budget at $4.48 million, with combined year-to-date expenditures and encumbrances totaling $484,173, or roughly 10.8% of the budget. While early year activity remains moderate, several key categories show meaningful encumbrances. Job training programs show total obligations of $352,069, largely due to encumbrances. Computer programs reflects $26,163 in expenditures and encumbrances. Other contractual services, rent, and professional service demonstrate modest early spending. Overall, contractual services retain a large available balance of $3,997,820. Capital outlay. Capital outlay totals $100,000 with no expenditures or encumbrances to date. The full budget remains available for future capital needs, including building improvements. Transfer out. All budgeted transfers totaling $1,388,465 have been fully executed. Major transfers include $1 million to Fund 307, the City of Port Arthur Parks and Rec project, $224,665 to Fund 201 for debt service, $150,000 to Fund 001 for administrative cost, $13,800 to Fund 612 for general liability fund. With transfers completed, this category has a zero remaining balance. Total expenditures. Year-to-date, actual expenditures stand at $194,060, and including encumbrances, total obligations are $572,799. This represents approximately 9% of the total expenditure budget of $6,436,533. Expenditures are well within expected levels for the first month of the fiscal year, with no categories demonstrating overspending. The remaining expenditure balance is $5,863,734, Conclusion. As of October, the year-to-date, the financial condition of the fund is strong. Revenues exceed expenditures significantly. Operating spending remains controlled and below budget. Transfers out have been fully executed as planned, and capital project spending is expected later in the fiscal cycle. Overall, the fund is in position well to meet operational and strategic priorities throughout fiscal year 25-26. Are there any questions? And I'm sorry? I think you might be looking at, I can, and if you need some help reviewing, because you might be looking at the columns. I added this fiscal year, I added an encumbrance column. Right, so the actual and the encumbrance are together. I did check the report to make sure, so just let me know once I email it to you if you have any additional questions. Okay? Any other questions?
My question is actually for Ms. Mueller, and it's about something I asked already. The EOC lease and the administrative fee.
Sir, so you all are actually going to be receiving on your next agenda information on the EOC lease that is currently being revised and negotiated with the city as well.
Okay.
Any additional questions? Okay, that will conclude my report. Thank you very much, Board.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
We have our quarterly workforce and community development report.
Good evening to the board. Indeed. So thank you for the opportunity to present the Workforce Community Development Update Report. I've given you an extensive list of what's taking place in the workforce division, so I'm not going to go through each of the pages, but I will summarize what we have. And so this summary is pretty much to provide a workforce, the workforce programs that are underway, and to share with you some of the results from 2025 and what we plan on launching for the 2026. The strategic focus is to strengthen Port Arthur's talent pipeline, expand access to training certifications and employment pathways, support youth, adults, and working professionals, align programs with employers and industry needs. So you know we have the key programs, and we'll go through them briefly. If you have any questions, we can definitely answer any of those questions towards the end. We'll start off with the Youth Employment Program. The Youth Employment Program, of course, last year did 11 students, employed 11 students at a investment of $96,000. The fiscal year 26 goal is for 20 students, and we did increase that to $100,000. That one has already been voted on, and it is before City Council, I believe on the 16th meeting. Lamar State College Port Arthur Scholarship Program, we approved for also 10 scholarships for this fiscal year at $90,000, at $9,000 per scholarship, 13 eligible programs. That was one of the bigger parts, is that we do have more programs that they will actually attend. We have a committee in place, and the outreach will start also in January once the City Council approves. CDL renewal is coming up in January. When we looked at the numbers of it, we realized that it's targeting 30 residents if they all went in to get their Type B. The cohorts have been ongoing. So far, we've had pretty much about 26 students go through the course as of now, or that are currently enrolled in the course as of now. We are doing a good job also with the addition of Ms. Bennett, and also advertising and making some type of marketing to let people know about the programs that we do have. The next program that we have is the nursing apprenticeship pathway. Like we stated, we wanted to make sure that they had options. This program will also go along with Lamar State College Port Arthur, and we're looking at the pilot to begin around March of 2026 with 5 participants trying to get them through the CNA, the LVN, and the RN pathway that we're trying to create in a partnership. Of course, you all have the initiative that was given by Lamar State College Port Arthur. Of course, we have the shipbuilding workforce project. In that, we did get word that they did get approved for the grant, and I know that the board is going to be structuring that. Just a little input from the workforce manager is I would state that let's look at, being that this is going to be a long-term investment for them, I know that they're trying to cut that up pretty much divided by the number per tuition. I would look at us getting a percentage of the people that are going to be in demand for that. And so therefore, if they're saying that there's going to be 1,000 shipbuilders that's needed versus just doing 45 shipbuilders just in 1 year, I would look at us looking at 45 a year for the next 3 or 4 years so that we can kind of maximize and get a bigger portion of that actual percentage of people that's going to be in need. Just my input on that one as well. And then, of course, we have the Welding World Shipbuilding Pathway. This is a course that's present in the room today, and they'll be presenting under the non-consent agenda for the first one. And I'll let them go into pretty much, but what was good about this program is that they're already established and they're set up to do welding. They also offer welding in bilingual, so they can do it also in Spanish as well as English, and the location of where they're at compared to where Lamar State College Port Arthur is located at, or any other welding company that has come to us, which they are the first outside of Lamar State College Port Arthur to come to us about our welding program. Of course, we're still tackling with Lamar Institute of Technology, the Police and Fire Academy program. I have been in contact with them. I'm waiting on them to ensure that the tuition rates are going to be what the tuition rates are going to be. After that, we'll be taking that proposal and giving it to the attorney for them to also review and present to you at the next board meeting. Coming also down the pipe, we have G-Tech Digital Workforce, who we've been in contract with before. They specialize in the electrical and pipe fitting. Just to take a personal moment, I did get a chance to speak at one of the graduations for this institution that we have here in Port Arthur. And they also not only train and have a flexible training pattern to where they can train in the afternoon. If you've probably seen today, they probably still have people out there that's in class right now. But they also deal with folks that have some barriers to their employment, which I think is a very much needed in our community, where people might be dealing with certain type of barriers. They kind of walk with them to make sure that they get their quick TWIC card, to make sure that they get their abilities. So we are working with them. I'm trying to help them to strengthen their pipeline to getting people employed. I realized in the contracts that I read before that we had with them that we were giving them an incentive to get people employed. But we do want to open up that pipeline, and we also want to consider those folks that might have a little difficulties getting employed, but this company actually works with them to try to get them past some of those barriers. And then we have the installation program that you've probably seen a lot of the data on from a lot of the emails that we're doing. So we're actually in the process of building through Lamar State College Port Arthur insulator program. We're looking at probably having about 3,000 insulators, a deficit of about 3,000 insulators. So it's a pipeline of folks that we are looking at the training partnership. We still have not gotten a tuition price on that yet. So more details will come on that as we continue to build that course. And then, of course, most of you have seen that we started the PA Power Hour series. We had session 1 a couple of months ago. 58 people were in attendance to that program. We only had about 38 registered, but that's what the good thing about it is that we are building that database so that we can get in contact with them. Last month's session, we only had 9 attendees. Now, don't fret. We also found out that was the same day playoffs are going to be. Go Titans. And so once I was able to leave the event, which was still successful, we did have a Prairie View Extension program along with a local tax and registration company that came in to actually present, and they dropped some serious jewels. And when I talk about they dropped some jewels that a lot of people needed to hear, they definitely dropped those jewels and they made themselves available. So we do have the third event coming up on the 11th. I do already have a couple of panelists that are already ready for that one, so we are I believe we had 39 people registered for this one already as well, and the word is getting out as people are posting it. People are saying, oh yeah, where's this at? And so we're getting a lot of good positive response as well of people that's interested in joining in on these sessions. At this time, if there's any questions, then I'll be happy to answer any of those. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry. I was looking back at the nursing, nursing program. I see you have budgeted $2,500 for CNA.
That is estimate right now, based off of the tuition, but we're also looking at any type of wraparounds that might be needed for those.
How many students would that include for $2,500?
At 2,500, that's one student.
One student for CNA?
Correct.
No, we need to look at it again. I didn't think we agreed on that one student for CNA.
Well, it's nothing we're looking at the skeleton numbers right now, so we still haven't found out, just like we're doing with the Police Academy program, we're finding out what exactly they're going to need as far as supplies and everything else. So those numbers are not hard numbers, those numbers are estimates at this time.
Talk about they was going to focus on CNA first and then move on to the LVN. So we need to look at one CNA. It is not conducive to what we need in this community. So we need to, I thought we had agreed to, I didn't know we had only put one. That's really.
Yeah, I mean, the entry level still to that is CNA. What we're also trying to do is make sure that they have, so it's an apprenticeship program. So we're looking at CNA, have you go to work, but also giving you an option of also going to the next level and still putting you to work. Lamar State College Port Arthur already has some apprenticeship programs set up with like Baptist. We're trying to open it up to Gulf Coast Cardiology. We're trying to make sure that in this program, once they have these skills, that they're immediately going to work right afterwards. So like I said, the numbers right now are not the most solid number. Those are numbers that were projected, but we're looking at the program as a whole. How do we get somebody trained and how do we get somebody to work? We don't necessarily want them to stop there because if, even as a CNA in this community, the median income would still put them in poverty.
I have no problem with that, but I just thought the number was higher than one. But again, we can look at that again. Another question I have, I was looking at the police and fireman department. If that's for 5 police and 5 fire department?
We haven't determined on the fire department side because there were some union legalities that they were still looking at because the union is stating that they can't offer it to just Port Arthur residents without offering it to the rest of the folks. But here we're limited to only Port Arthur residents. So the fire department, we haven't established a number for them yet, nor have we decided how many they need because they need theirs for fire marshals, so they might not need as many folks to go through the police academy as the police academy does as try to get new recruits.
We're looking at starting the program by January 2026.
Yeah, so if we can get everything back from Lamar Institute, we'll look at it being to the board by January because by the time we get the information back, it's going to be mid-December. And mid-December, we'll put it on the actual January board meeting.
You just have to apply. You have to apply. What's to qualify? Do they have to apply applications or
That part would be,
testing or in order to enter the program?
so from what I know that they already do testing already for folks that are going through, so it'll be in the cycle. Once they have a class that's coming up, these funds would be allocated for that next class to come up.
The question I have. Thank you. Good report.
Just so we can get clarity, you're not saying that we're just gonna do one person through the nursing program? You're saying-
No.
I think that's what the mix-up was.
No,
How many
no.
people, what's the total number that we're looking at for nurses?
So we're looking at a minimum of 5.
Okay.
Okay.
And then trying to increase from there.
Okay.
Because there's gonna be certain people that will say, okay, I wanna get into the first track, but don't necessarily continue on. But we do wanna make sure that we have high school students that are coming out, with the CNA. So if they're ready to advance to the next level, then we want to be able to take them to that next level, knowing that we already have a job lined up with them as well.
Awesome.
John,
Thank you,
for
sir.
clarity, under the budget there, 2,500 for CNAs per person, correct?
Right.
So those numbers there under budget.
Not
are-
necessarily one person, but he said, that's
right.
the question. He said one.
Right.
So again, this all about clarification. Thank you
Right.
so much for the answer as well as Ms. Murphy.
And the reason why we didn't want to set max numbers is because as we're rolling out these new programs, I still have a budget to operate in. And so once we get, fire department on, once we figure out the total number of police, once we figure out the total number of nursing, those are going to impact those budgets as well.
Okay, I understand.
All right, but just like we mentioned a meeting or so ago, if everything gets rolling and there's plenty buy-in, I personally have no problem adjusting this budget at all.
Gotcha, and I appreciate that. I just want to make sure we're being good stewards and efficient in what we're doing.
We appreciate that. Again, this is a whole lot better than I've seen in a year. This is excellent. A good job. Very good job. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Appreciate you.
All right, consent agenda item number 1. Discuss and possible consideration of workforce training partnership with Welding World of Port Arthur, Texas. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
It has been moved and second. Ms. Mueller.
Sir, in your packets, you have a letter of intent from Welding World Academy. Mr. Granger did just mention this to you. Welding World Academy offers a higher level welding training. This is an opportunity for the EDC to possibly partner with them to offer Port Arthur residents some additional welding training at an advanced level rather than entry level. Mr. Pena and his cohort are here tonight to speak a little bit more about the program itself, and then if you all would like to move forward with doing the particulars and entering into a workforce agreement, we will do that due diligence and then come back to you all with an actual agreement.
Hello, good afternoon, guys. My name is Michael Pena. This is one of the other owners as well of Welding World Academy at Port Arthur. We're just passing out these so you guys can we've already emailed out some information. There's more information there, and it gives you a couple of pictures in the back that kind of shows you a little bit of the facility that we have. The facility's over here off of Highway 365 and West Port Arthur Road. We've been open a little bit over about a year and a half, and we've been able to accomplish a lot. The facility now is able to handle, we can actually turn around and handle about 36 students every 7 weeks or 36 students every 14 weeks, depending on the hours that the students are able to choose. We do have, right now, one of the great things that Welding World was able to accomplish was partner with Kiewit to be able to do all of their testing certifications for their 3 major projects, which is GTPP project, the OCAPS, and the new Ledgers projects in Port Arthur. Took us, very proud of that, to be able to get that through with us, but, that is one of the greatest accomplishments that we're able to do. We're also in talks with, ExxonMobil. We've already done some of their projects for ExxonMobil, like pipe supports through our students that actually fabricated and customized those particular products that they needed. There's several other companies, J.J. Flanagan, the stevedores out of Port Arthur, and we have the BT Water Solutions plant as well. We're doing all their stainless steel fabrication out there that they need. We're partnered with a lot of different companies. That's just to name a few. Any letters of recommendations, any emails, any numbers that you guys need to be able to confirm this, it's not a problem. Right now, we wanted to make sure we just get you a rough copy, present ourselves here to see like, hey, we are a real company, and we are very proud to be able to accomplish these things. Also, we're also partnered with the Texas Workforce. They've also given us a handful of grants for students. We as well give away free tuitions to some students throughout the year. We're wanting to give away one more this year for the remaining of the year. So we try our best to give back to the community as much as possible. The tuitions, the price of them, it's not very cheap for us to do that, but we try our best to give back to the community so that we can help out. So if you guys have any questions or anything you might want to ask us on timeframes and budgets, we're here ready to answer any questions you guys have.
Questions?
Yeah, where are you located? Are you located in the old Taylor Sheet Metal?
Yeah, the old Taylor sheet metal building, I purchased that building about 5 years ago. So I had it and I was going to lease the building. And then probably about a year into it, I did a fabrication shop. And about a year after that is when I partnered with Chris and my brother-in-law and said, hey, let's do a welding school. So then we fabricated and we invested a huge amount of cash to be able to get our facility up and running. So if you go look at the building now, there's some pictures in the back that kind of give you one of the front shop buildings, what we converted into the welding school. It's a little bit more different now. We bought more equipment, plasma table to help bevel and cut coupons. We actually cut and bevel our own coupons. So for the students, we also sell those to the public as well. But that old Taylor sheet metal building is the building that this school is at.
Saying you've been in that building and schooling for how long?
The school itself has been open probably a little over a year and a half itself, maybe a little bit less than that, but a little bit less than a year and a half. The actual school itself, Welding World, has been training students about that time. But everything else that we do there, fabrication, I also have another sister company there, AMF, so we do a little bit of other fabrications and custom work for the public. So, but that's what we have right there. So a little bit under a year and a half, Welding World has been established.
You get any other funding?
No. The only funding that we get is students that pay cash. We also do in-house financing. We only ask for $500 down, and then we break everything up into 14 weeks. So $300-something a week for the classes that they're going for. And the Texas workforce itself, they've probably been able to only fund maybe about 6 students throughout that last year and a half. So it's not a very easy process. And even the students that go and try to qualify, not all of them get to qualify. We have a whole list of, I would say over 150 students that already gone to go apply at the Texas workforce, and they've basically been denied. For reasons, they make too much money, for an example. They might make $35,000. Oh, that's too much. You're $1,000 too much. So there's a lot of gray area for the students, and they get denied all the time. So even though we still send them there to go try, one of the reasons why we're here is to try to see if we can partner with the EDC to try to give these students more of a chance to be able to get funding for this training.
You don't place them. You just train them. You don't place them.
No, we definitely do place them. We're not 100% placement, percentage wise, but probably 40 or 50% of the students that we've already trained, that maybe I think one of them from the Texas workforce has gone to like vessel repair, that we've introduced them there. We have several students that actually went to Kiewit at some of these GTP projects. So we're definitely, and we also work with the workforce. So we're also trying to place them. I think having more qualified students to be able to put out there would be a better positive, a better projection to be able to get more students. Because right now our schools, it's slowly growing. It's not like I have, class starts tonight, night schools right now, so 6 to 9. I don't have a packed house tonight. I probably have about 4 or 5 students tonight. It's always a hit and miss, but I can handle up to 36 students. I have 36 booths. So I think if, I have more students, the percentage of getting these guys more hired is going to be a lot better, just because a lot of students don't have the grant money or don't have the means to be able to finance the school itself. Yeah.
Any questions? Go ahead.
I got one question. The program is 6,000 per student. How many students are we looking at if we were to decide to approve this program?
That would depend on the workforce's budget. We have not gotten that far yet. So depending on everything Sean has going on, we would decide on what that number is. Yeah.
Okay, so I have a few questions. So do you work with the school district at all?
We've tried. Well, we went to Memorial, we went to Bob Hope. I actually gave one of the tuitions to a PNG student. I know Port Neches has their own welding program. But so we do try to go into the schools, and a lot of the times, a lot of these students are a lot younger, so I guess their parents are not necessarily wanting to try to get them involved at an early age, just due to, it's ups and downs of welding with their eyes. But we've gone into schools, actually sat there, did a presentation in classrooms, and try to pass out our flyers and things like that. So we are actively trying to get as many students as we possibly can, people that are even graduating. So that is something that we're definitely trying.
Well, I said that as need to come to the CTE building at Memorial High School. It has a welding program, and you may be able to get some young people to flow into your school from there because they're already involved in it. Secondly, what certifications are you doing? I see you have a completion, a certificate of completion, but what certifications are you doing that are like industry standard? Are you doing any of those on site?
We're just doing a basic certificate of completion, just like any high school would do. Around here, a lot of the companies, they test you on the testing facility like we are.
Yeah.
And then the certified welding inspector makes your certs, and that's what qualifies you as a welder. So the certificate is just an extra, layer to say, hey, I got some training, send me to take a weld test. So it helps out in that aspect of it.
We also have a full-time CWI certificate gentleman that is one of our partners as well, as that will come in and certify the welders, because all the testers that go out to the plants, they have to visually see all this stuff. When we do destructive testing, so we cut it, we bend it, so all of that is in place. So regardless of where you go, you're still gonna have to retest. And luckily, we're also not on the school, we're also a test site.
So we'll make them take every single test they do out in the field. And in our program, the difference is that our structural program includes 70-18 stick welding and flux core, which other schools don't. They only teach you 70-18 for the same price. So they're getting both, which is what they're doing nowadays, or they're using a lot of flux core now.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Something else to say?
No, sir, I think this would be an action item whether the board wants to move forward to the next step with this.
I have a motion on the floor, so just all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 2, discuss and possible consideration of request for Holland Gas LLC for an extension of the economic incentive contract and loan agreement with the PA EDC. May I have a motion, please?
Second, request that it be brought into executive session.
Okay, we're going to move agenda item number 2 into executive session for further discussion.
Chair, I have asked the representatives from Holland Gas to come and speak a little bit about the challenges they faced. If you all would allow them to come up and go ahead and talk about those challenges, that way we have a better understanding whenever it's discussed in executive session.
It's fine.
How are you guys?
Great,
My
how
name
are
is
you?
Farhana Swati. This is Siddiqa Swati. We're the owners of Holland Gas LLC. Some of you guys know us from the community, but we're here to talk about if you guys have any questions about our request for extension, 5-year extension based on our grant for hiring of Port Arthur residents that are CDL tanker certified to work in Holland Gas.
So, basically, if you would, just kind of explain to us a little bit about why you're asking for the extension
Yes.
and all of those types of things.
So we're asking for the extension because we are not able to meet our goals that we had projected within the last 3 years or 2.5 years of operation because of recruitment challenges. I would say recruitment in the sense of the plan was to work with the Port Arthur Lamar CDL training division as soon as these students take their CDL, get certified, get tanker certified to come to Holland Gas for training and then employment. But we faced very severe challenges in reference to hiring these fresh graduates of CDL certification and tanker certification isn't possible until they do 6-week training. 6-week training means a lot of resources put on our part because every person that joins has to be paid, even during the training period. And so with that, most of these people don't get into qualify to work for Hall and Gas. They don't make it through the training program. So with that, we had not foreseen those type of challenges when we first made the request. CDL program does give them a good theoretical understanding of CDL and tanker, but it does not at all equip them for the reality of being behind the wheel, because it's completely different from CDL certified over the road or box trucks. And so some of them become overwhelmed. The main thing is it's a rolling bomb, basically. So when they find out in the training program, which is extremely aggressive and it's lengthy, it's not a 1-week program and then I'm putting them on the road. It is a 6-week program with a certified trainer. So basically my highest paid driver, who is a Port Arthur resident, is spending 6 weeks with them, first on the driving half, teaching them, and then the last 2 weeks is solo, well, not so, meaning they're driving, but my training driver is in the passenger seat. So that depletes my resources for the company. And like I said, most of these trainees don't make it. So that's where we're facing the challenges.
So how do we fix it? How do you fix it?
So how do we fix it? We think that maybe there needs to be a bridge between a fuel transport company like ours, who wants to work with the Port Arthur EDC, and the EDC and Port Arthur Lamar CDL, in reference to how they're training them. I think the theoretical training is perfect. They know their stuff. They know everything that is required on a safety standpoint, but they're not following through because, again, it's just theoretical. They don't do any drive time, and that may be because of lack of resources at Port Arthur Lamar. I was told that they only have 1 truck and no tanker. So 2 of my drivers actually got certified here, and they worked out with us, but they didn't go through the program, they just went through the testing. And we sent our own truck and tanker. But they did tell me that for the other students, they had a truck that Port Arthur Lamar has, but it's just 1, and there's no tanker. So that's confusing to me, because you're giving them tanker endorsement, but they don't ever get access to be able to train on a tanker. Tanker is a completely different animal altogether. And you guys see them on the highways, but I give these guys a lot more respect owning this company now than I did just as a fuel jobber, because no one can just do their job. That's why they're considered the creme de la creme of transport, of freight hauling. It's very complex. It requires brain power and it requires physical and a lot of memory. And if you're not paying attention, even one little mistake can cost a lot of fatalities. The company, it's just a mess. I can go over many things. Cross drops. I had one trainee come in, and during the training process, they did a cross drop. A cross drop means $12,000 just for Pac Oil Company, which is the fuel jobber, not Hall and Gas, that they've lost money in the product because that product has to be taken out of the tank. They can't sell the product, the gas station can't. So when Pac Oil gets a company to come and clean the tank out, then obviously they're billing Hall and Gas. And we can't pass that, on to the driver. They can't afford that, so it's a great loss on our part. Not only that, but which vehicle did take that product that was contaminated? And if people come back and say, hey, my engine is out and I got fuel from here, here's my receipt, then there's other losses incurred, damages to the site, to the gas station, to the fuel jobber, to the freight company, and to the customer, the end user. So you have to understand, it's just so complex that I do think in the training process, Lamar Port Arthur, they need a fuel transport company to help them through that before these people get out on the road or apply for a job. Because I don't see any other fuel transport company besides hauling gas, and I know all of them because I use all of them for Pack Oil, that do training past 1 week. First of all, they don't hire less than 2 years of experience. So then where do these people go to get jobs? So we want Port Arthur people to have jobs. If they're going through the CDL program and these are high-paying jobs, we want them. We don't want them to be dismayed and then go find something else or be unemployed. So how can we help them succeed? That's the first thing I talk about in the orientation once we're starting the training program. So the more feedback that these trainees give us, the better, and of course the trainer. And our trainer, we're open to bringing them to Lamar Port Arthur CDL to meet with people there, the trainers there, to talk to them, because he has 15 years of experience as a safety trainer in CDL hazmat. And so whatever we can do to work with Lamar Port Arthur, Holland Gas would like to spend that time because we want to hire people. We're short on drivers.
So I know that Mr. Albright wants to say something. I have one question. Anyone else had? Okay. So is Lamar Port Arthur the only place that you're like trying to acquire people from, or that was like
That's the preference. It's not the only place, but that is a preference that we know the EDC invests money and resources to work with that CDL program. So it's not the only place, but that needs a lot of improvement, of course. But we put out it Indeed and other areas for drivers.
Okay.
But
whoever wants to go? Okay.
So I think I have two questions. So the request for a 5-year extension on top of the current, the current contract is already a 5-year contract?
It is up until 2027, 2026, sorry, yeah.
So the request for an additional 5 years would be to essentially catch up what has not been able to be complied with due to the challenges plus? Okay. And then my second question would be kind of tied to the Lamar State College question. Has there been any effort or attempt on your part to bring the concerns that you share with us here today to them and those that are leading that program? Yes. And then if so, what was the response?
I think the response was, they were open to some of the feedback, but Lamar Port Arthur was going through a transition where they were going to be the only CDL training facility acknowledged by the state. I don't know if you guys are aware of that, in 2023. And I don't think it happened until 2024. So I wasn't able to, they were like, let's wait until we get this transition happen. There was a new building. There was a lot of changes that took place with the CDL program. You guys have a sophisticated building, new staff, everything. And so with that entire transition, I was told to get back with them or they would get back with me. They were receptive in the beginning, but then all of this happened. Where, from my understanding in this area, that's the only location you can go to now. You can't, so now private companies cannot offer CDL training program to get certified. Just our in-house training program, safety training program is it. Whereas in the past, if I applied as a company, I could do the same thing just like TTE or many others do. So now with just Lamar Port Arthur being that, which I think is actually a good thing, the transition is probably why they delayed in wanting to meet with me again, is what I'm thinking. They were receptive in the beginning.
One more question, and if, yeah. Just kind of looking at the chart, which is very helpful. So would it be safe to say that in the time that you've been engaged with the EDC for the incentive program for the hiring requirement, it looks like maybe you've only been able to meet 25% of that in the time? Okay.
Yes, unfortunately.
All right. One more question? Okay.
The whoever you would reference to that had 2-year experience,
Yes.
where they go to Lamar? I mean, where?
No, they did not go to Lamar. They just went there to take the test to get certified. That was a student that actually did self-study, and I don't think they could afford to go to take a proper training. And they were just, that person was just passionate about fuel hauling. Apparently their dad had done fuel hauling, so was just a unique case, I would say. But my current drivers are all Port Arthur residents, fantastic drivers, but have been in the business over 10 years. To me, that is, you know, that question you asked, well, can't you find others? We can, but giving back to the community, my emphasis is like the young people that try to take the CDL program, because they have a lot of ambition to become CDL drivers. The ones that take the tanker endorsement do it for a reason, because they want to get paid more. That's the only reason. And they want to stay home. They want to go home. They don't want to be over the road. And I respect that. So other transport companies, they become just a number, but because I'm a Port Arthur resident myself, I'm an owner of Pac Oil Company, which is a fuel jobbership that's been here since 1994. I have a vested interest personally in wanting to see these young people get into this type of business, since they've already put themselves out there. EDC's paying for them. I think, what, 20, Crystal, a year? So why not focus on them and try to get them to become successful fuel haulers? So.
Yes. Just 6 weeks training, additional training. What would be the money figure on that, you think?
The money that we have to.
It would cost.
So it's a cost of the employee. A new trainee is roughly about, I would say annually we offer between 60 and 65,000. So what does that run on a weekly, whatever weekly that is?
Not about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not, without a calculator, I'm not good. So that we have to pay, because they can't be out of pay while they're training. And then, so that's our investment in the trainee. And then my senior most driver, my trainer, is out hauling loads under the training period. So he's not doing his regular schedule. So I'm having to pull someone else in to cover for him. And this model has been very successful. Knock on wood, we've only had one incident and no fatalities. That's a big deal in fuel hauling. That's a very big deal. If you look at 2025, just in Beaumont alone, we've had 4 fatalities in fuel hauling. So it's a rolling bomb. It's, I go out sometimes with the drivers, I sit in the passenger seat, I watch them. Not that I'm better or I'm the professional, they're the professional, but just to understand their pains and what are the challenges that they're facing. And it's just more than you can imagine. Product loading, dropping, everything is complex. Every aspect of it is complex.
You're saying with Lamar University, with the CDL, they don't have one step up to train.
Yes.
So, and you're stuck with them?
With the trainees?
With their program, which they don't supply that, is that correct or not?
I'm not tied with them in any agreement.
If you won't put out the people, you are.
I am,
Okay.
yeah.
So
Then-
it's there.
Yes,
So if Lamar would step up one more step, then it would be way better.
I agree. Yes, they would. And like I said, I would be more than willing to take time out and even get my senior safety trainer driver to go out and maybe present a program. It may not be something that they can duplicate exactly, but we can certainly communicate through what would look good, because right now, it's not just here, it's a complete failure all over the state. I can't speak for other states. Well, no, I can speak for Louisiana, because we do haul in Louisiana. Texas and Louisiana, for sure, it's a complete failure. They're not equipping. Like I said, if a trainee does not have any experience, how do you expect them to have experience if you're not going to hire them? So Hauling Gas is open to considering training them without any experience once they get certified. TTE won't do it, Dupree won't do it, Worldine won't do it. They're not going to take that kind of a risk because we have such high liability in our insurance. We will, but usually within several weeks of training, we figure out this person's not going to cut it, or they're overwhelmed. And I've even had one Lamar Port Arthur trainee, he went through everything, got his certifications, went through the training program, 6 weeks, and it was time to go solo. He backed out. He works now for the city of Port Neches, I think, doing some other kind of driving in a smaller type of truck. He said, I'm nervous around the fuel tanker. I can understand that.
So, did you say Lamar has one tanker they could train on?
I know that there's one truck, but the tanker, I'm not sure. My manager, when he went out there to talk to Lamar Port Arthur CDL division, he said he didn't see a tanker. So when our individual went, they had to take our tanker and our truck. But he said, I only saw for those other students a truck. I didn't see a tanker. So, but yes. I'm willing to answer any more questions or elaborate on it, because this is an important matter, obviously, for all of us.
One thing I would also want to note, also a capacity issue, we do have more stores we can service and more clients we just don't have.
I mean, we're vertically integrating our own mothership, which is Swati Enterprises, which most of you know because we've been around since '94. We want to service all our own sites, but we can't because we don't have enough drivers to do it, qualified drivers.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Of course.
All right. Item number 3, Discuss for popular consideration the approval of a quote or quotes for the landscaping and irrigation installation, repair, and cleanup at the Spur 93 and Jade Avenue Business Parks. May I have a motion, please? It's been moved and second. Ms. Mueller, what do you have?
Yes, sir. In your packets, you had 3 quotes provided to you with a summary as a cover page of those 3 quotes. Ms. Garcia is passing out to you an updated summary. There was one quote that did not include irrigation in that packet that was provided to you last week. The updated quote was given to us. It includes the irrigation that was asked in the the scope of work, and that summary and new quote is being passed out to you now. So if you will reference the summary page on the one that Ms. Garcia has passed out to you, and of course, the new quote for ground skies is included behind that one, and then the other 2 quotes remain the same. You'll see there that your lowest quote of the 3 is from the Ground Guys of Golden Triangle for $38,267.24. And this is to completely overhaul and install new landscaping at the business park for both entrances of Spur 93 and installation, removal, cleanup, and installation of all of the Jade Avenue Business Park landscaping, as well as installation of irrigation on Spur 93. Also want to note this, of course, is just a one-time. This is for the installation and cleanup, and then, of course, the board would have to entertain entering into a maintenance contract with a provider after this work has been done and completed.
And what are we thinking?
I was going to ask you on this, Crystal, do you just put a proposal out there on the internet or however to get these bids?
So for this one was a request for quotes, Mr. LeBev. So we reached out to several vendors. Total, I reached out to 7 in the surrounding areas that did both landscaping and had irrigation license and capabilities as well. And these 3 were the 3 that responded. Our normal protocol is go with the lowest bidder, unless there is a Port Arthur bidder and they fall within that 5% amount, but neither of these are Port Arthur bidders. So normal protocol would be go with the lowest bidder. And each one was provided with the scope of work, so each proposal is based on the same scope of work.
So we had.
So you're right, the 3 did change up the plants. I will say Ground Skies of Golden Triangle did do more plants that did not require as much irrigation, which I think is what made their quote come down so much lower, such as agave, those type of plants that don't require as much water. So that is something to consider as well.
So did you see that being the main driver of the cost difference is the irrigation difference and the kind of vegetation?
Yes, ma'am, because the cost difference is in the irrigation. There is about $11,000 difference in the irrigation cost for them versus the other 2 that were right at the same amount.
You did say that you reach out to Port Arthur companies and they never responded.
There may have been one in the group, Ms. Raymond, but there were not very many that had the irrigation license and capabilities. We have plenty of landscaping companies, but we did need those that were able to install and repair irrigation.
It's a pleasure of the board.
I kind of like the plant thing.
I'm not into flowers, but I'm into pretty. Well, no, I mean, I think
Yes.
I read rose bushes and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want,
Maintenance.
No maintenance.
So it's still, it's the pleasure of the board. Now, we do, in just consideration, we do know that some of those plants take way more care than others. And I think our issue right now is that we've had a lack of maintenance, and those things that we had in place are no longer there. So let's consider that as well as we make this decision. So again, pleasure of the board.
Keep up.
Come on, somebody give me something. Thank you.
I'll make a motion that we go with EL irrigation and landscaping.
What were you gonna say? Go ahead and say it.
I don't know, this is a countering motion, making a separate motion, but, because I was preparing to move that we consider grounds guys as the Golden Triangle.
Let's go back.
Yes,
So
I'll go back.
go to your motion first, and we go see if we get a second. All right, so we have a motion on the floor for EL irrigation and landscaping. Do I have a second? Okay, it's been moved and second that we go with EL irrigation and landscaping. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Stuff start dying, who's gonna blame?
Exactly, we don't have the grounds people to keep that.
Well, we just voted that we're gonna go with them, so y'all just complain together, okay? All right, we gonna complain as a solid board.
Chair, if we can do a roll call, that way we have accurate minutes, please.
Let me tell you who abstained, I can tell you. Ms. Jacobs and Mr. LeBeau.
Everyone in agreement that everyone else other than Ms. Jacobs and Mr. LeBeuf?
I'm good.
I said aye.
So everyone else voted yes?
Excuse
Okay.
me, I abstained.
I'm just trying to not
I
let
just
Kayla
don't
be by
want it to
herself.
die.
That's
Who's
all.
gonna blame when they die?
That's okay.
Crystal?
I'm on camera and mic.
So our next
I
step,
got what you're going for.
Mr. LeBeuf, would be to engage a vendor to maintain and upkeep it.
All right, agenda item number 4, discuss and possible consideration to approve an agreement with Golden Shovel Agency LLC for website development and hosting services in a one-time amount not to exceed $36,450 and a hosting service in a yearly amount not to exceed $13,500. May I have a motion, please? It's been moved and second. We have any discussion on this? Come on.
Good evening.
There's a question for you.
Yes, Director Albright.
Director Albright, sorry to interrupt you. Do you mind lowering your microphone for me? Thank you.
Dynamic data collection built into this thing.
Is dynamic data collection built in? Can you give me an example?
I think what the example is it gives you the ability for everybody that views your page and goes to different things, it tells you exactly who viewed your page, okay, and allows you to follow up if you want to.
So that is an upgraded item that we would be able to add later on if it's something that we see fit. Right now, I did not include that in the proposal, but the company does have the capability to capture that information.
Okay, and with that, are we able to capture it, or do we have to rely on the vendor?
We would have to rely on the vendor for that.
Is it possible to do it without the vendor and have them built it in so our staff can do it?
I would have to check with Golden Shovel to see if that's a possibility, but based off the conversations that I've had with them, I don't think that we have the capabilities for that. It kind of sounds like it's a third-party integration unless we go through them. then we would have instant access to the information if we use their data collecting. Now, we could possibly research some third-party integration sites that would allow us to do that. I don't know cost effectively. I don't know if it would be, more cost effective to go with Golden Shovel or a third-party integration, but I would have to look into that.
All right. And I'm assuming, just from the information, that it's going to be like $12,000 a year to maintain this thing?
Yes.
All right, off of that, what knowledge do we gain from them with our website?
So with our website, by using Golden Shovel, because they are economic development centered, they do a lot of just as far as leads for us, as far as information goes. They will also give us a gatekeeper, which we meet with monthly, that tells us the trends. As far as putting out newsletters, they will also kind of work with our social media to produce weekly posts for us. Based off of the last conversation I had with them, they stated that as far as the economic development piece goes, they look, again, like I said, the trends in the area, the trends in the state, and they give us some leads based off of that information that they have.
What kind of leads are you saying?
Leads as far as companies, leads as far as business, leads as far as real estate goes.
Leads as far as our website, or just leads in general?
Leads in general, and then what may be fitting for our area. So it goes beyond the scope of just the website development for them. They kind of work with us hand in hand on economic development and capturing businesses for our area.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? All in favor?
No.
Opposed?
No.
The record reflect that the motion does pass. We have one no, Mr. Albright. Okay. Agenda item number 5. Discussion of the sale of property at the business park. May I have a motion, please?
Where's number 5?
It's been moved. Is there? I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and second. Mr. LeBeau, what you got?
Yeah, all I want to know is what, under the policy and procedures, bylaws, whatever it is, what's the rules for obtaining property at the park?
Can you elaborate a little more, Mr. LeBeau, so as what type of rules?
Somebody comes up to you and wants to buy property at the park. What's the rules?
So the process to buy property,
Under what we have now, not what we're working on, what we have now.
so we do have covenants and restrictions that are in place. Any purchaser does have to follow those covenants and restrictions. They have to qualify under one of those types of businesses that are not restricted by your covenants and restrictions. Any purchase has to come before this board to have the board consider whether they would like to approve the purchase or not.
Tell me anything?
Is there a specific
No, I just need to know. I mean,
detail you're looking for?
bless you. If
I know
somebody,
whenever the business park came about and we worked on the covenants and restrictions, what the EDC's intent was to either enter into an incentive agreement with the business owner, and one of the incentives would be to decrease the cost of purchasing the land so that they would build their business. And then in the deed, whenever we conveyed it, there was a there was a reversionary clause to say it would revert back to the EDC if they did not use it to establish that business. I think why all of this was built in is we did not want speculators to come in, purchase the property, hold on to it. And so they basically had about 18 months to do something with it. And if not, the EDC got the chance to purchase it back from them. And that's all in the covenants and restrictions, all the deeds, at least whenever we were doing it, I vividly remember all of that in there. So I think the whole purpose is if someone comes up and they have either their own business and they want to build it out there in the business park and it complies with our covenants and restrictions, it's a business that needs to be out there in the business park, the EDC agrees to sell it for fair market value, depending on whether or not there's an incentive agreement in there. And then they have, and I could be wrong, I haven't looked at the recent ones, about 18 months to develop the property. And if they don't do that, then the EDC has the right to repurchase it. That was, at that time, the intent of selling property in the business park. Now, yes, some people do purchase, build, and they might lease the property to another owner. That's not necessarily prohibited, but the goal is to have businesses come, purchase a property, and have their business operate out of there, not willy-nilly people just coming in and out. And that's why in all of the deeds, there is a reversionary clause.
So why don't we just go on, and I think y'all working on stuff now, right, to change some rules?
Reviewing the covenants and restrictions.
I'm calling it the end user. If I want to buy something, it's mine. After 18 months or so long, it goes back to you. Can't divide it, can't rent it, can't lease it, can't build, spec, nothing.
Well, whenever they come to purchase the property, they are coming, it's not like Kate Leverett, just go buy a piece of property. When they're purchasing it from the EDC, it has to comply with a specific business that's going to be out there in the business park, and they're committing to build on it and bring that business there. The intent is not for them to just have it for 18 months and then the EDC purchase it back. The intent is for them to have their business out there. Now, again, they build something and they want to lease it to another tenant, that can work as long as that tenant is bringing in a business that complies.
So the first purchaser has to come up with a plan, or you don't sell it to them.
It has to be a business that can go into that business park.
But if he builds the building under them specs and then turns around and changes it, then it has to come to the board.
Correct, or if they want to sell it, they would have to come to the board. Because the intent is not to have people come out, build spec businesses, and then make a profit off of the EDC. At least in the past, a lot of times the incentive was to minimize the cost of the property to incentivize the business owner to get there, and that was a big part of the incentive. But why we built in all of these restrictions was because we didn't want them to be getting the property for less than fair market value, then build something on them and then make a profit. We don't want constant turnover in the business park. We want people to go out there, put their business there, and stay for the long term. So that is the philosophy. And I know we are reviewing everything, but even with what we currently have in place, it dictates that that is the goal. That is the goal that we're trying to seek.
Okay. That's it.
Okay. Any other questions about that? All right, it is 7:24, and we will now go into executive session. The director will recess to executive session pursuant to Chapter 551 Texas Government Code to discuss the following topics. 551074 and 551071. We are adjourned. Let's go to the executive session. 7:55, we're ready to reconvene our regular board meeting. May I have a roll call, please?
Beverly Raymond. Kayla Jacobs. Here. Jerry LeBeau. Here. Daryl Anderson.
Here.
Morris Albright.
Here.
Ingrid Holmes. And Katrina Frick. You have a quorum, Chair.
Thank you so much. Coming out of executive session, we have one item, and that is agenda item number 2, discuss and possible consideration of a request from Hull & Gas LLC for an extension on the economic incentive contract and loan agreement with the PAEDC.
Make a motion to table.
Been moved to table this particular item. All in favor? All right. All right, this time, do we have any future agenda items? All right, so at this time, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
Second.
Has been moved and second. Hey, happy holidays to all of you. See y'all on the other side.